H-Town, Minneapolis. ESPN's coverage of the American League Division Series continues. It's New York and Minnesota, Game 3. Torrey Hunter and the Twins attempt to take control of the series up against the Yankees in Game 2 hero Alex Rodriguez. It's a magic born of great memories, of so many great players, teams, and titles. October baseball, that thing the Yankees do so well.
I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, oh no.
A-Rod earned his postseason pinstripes with performance in the clutch, while Jeter added to his legacy, and they avoided a sweep in the city that doesn't sleep. But the Twins proved the apple wasn't too big for them. And now they've got the Bombers right where they want them, in the land of the Dome, with 50,000 hanky-waving fans. Will the Yankees bring their mystique to Minnesota, or can the working-class Twins grind them down and send them packing? We shall see. Next, it's Game 3.
I can feel
It's Game 3 of the American League Division Series, presented by Budweiser. The New York Yankees and the Minnesota Twins moving from New York here to Minneapolis to the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, and a huge crowd of Twins fans, and they are carrying those Homer Hankies, a staple of the Twins in postseason play, and they'll try and blow the roof off this place here tonight. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, and welcome to Game 3 of the American League Division Series. Now, Joe Torre, has often said that Game 3 is always pivotal. He's always given great thought to which pitcher would be the perfect one for this huge swing game. But he's going with Kevin Brown, and he's a lot of experience. He's had an excellent career, but in the 5 weeks since he punched a wall with his left hand and broke a bone in his hand, he's only pitched 5 2/3 innings.
Yeah, but he's a big game pitcher, John, and he pitched great his last outing against Toronto, pitched 5 innings and was flawless. So I think that Joe Torre has a lot of confidence in this guy, and he wanted a guy with experience. He never goes with inexperience in Game 3 because that's his big game.
All right, so Brown going up against Carlos Silva. Now, the Twins were so close to coming home ahead 2 games to none, and yet they could not hold the lead. A heartbreaking loss. Now, the Yankees have a leader, Derek Jeter. He sets the tone in their clubhouse. What about the Twins? Who do the players look to now to set the tone for them after that big loss Wednesday?
Well, Torrey Hunter is the leader of this ball club, and he does it by example. Plus, he chats a little bit with the players. He hit the big home run. By example, he was leading. They hit the home run on Tuesday, Wednesday, to put them ahead in extra innings. But he's also the leader defensively as well. He leads them on the bases. He is a complete player, and he's the guy. But the one thing that he has to make sure that his teammates understand, we are 1-1. Even though it seems like the Yankees may have grabbed the momentum by winning Game 2, they're still 1-1. That's the way you wanted to come back here in Minnesota. If they'd asked you this at the beginning of the series, you said, we go 1-1, we go back home and we'll win it. That's the way they should feel about it.
All right, so Torrey Hunter, the Twins, they're ready. The Yankees are all set to go with the veteran Brown. Carlos Silva makes the start for the Twins. He won 14 games in the regular season and finished real strongly down the stretch. We'll be right back with the first pitch.
ESPN's Major League Baseball Division Series, presented by Budweiser. Budweiser, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. And in part by Hertz. It's your trip. Rent wisely.
And the huge crowd waving the Homer Hankies here at the Metrodome. The Twins have taken the field, and Game 3 is about to begin. Now, coming up next year on ESPN2 will be Game 1 of the WNBA Finals between the Seattle Storm and the Connecticut Sun. Once the Red Sox and Angels game is over on ESPN, we will be moving this game over to ESPN. And here on ESPN2, you'll get the Connecticut-Seattle WNBA Finals game. So stay tuned. We'll have updates from that game until we can get you to that game live. And again, it will happen just as soon as the ball game at Fenway Park is over. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, and we're joined by our colleague, Gary Miller. Gary.
John and Joe, this place is distinctly different than what we had for games 1 and 2. Not only is it indoors as opposed to the outdoor Yankee Stadium, but it's the upper Midwest. They'll be loud in here, but they won't be quite as rude as they are in the Bronx. As you mentioned, the Homer Yankees are back. They came back after debuting in 1987 during the final homestand here, so they're out in force as well. Now, their home numbers are significantly better like they are for most teams. If you look at the numbers, the Twins play better here, but the Yankees are not intimidated. They eliminated the Twins by winning twice here last year in the postseason. Two things to watch for. Sheffield and Jeter have significantly better numbers in Yankee Stadium than they do on the road. And although this Teflon dome plays a little bit easier at night than it does in the daytime, watch for pop-ups and crowd noise. It's hard to pick it up, and you can't communicate very well, guys.
All right, Gary, and it is a very unique environment, that's for sure. The Yankees batting order now against Carlos Silva. It'll be Derek Jeter at shortstop, and he had the big home run. He did a lot of big things in that ball game in Game 2. Alex Rodriguez at third base. It'll be Gary Sheffield in right field hitting third. Hideki Matsui drove in the game-winning run in left field. Bernie Williams in center hitting fifth. Jorge Posada, the catcher. John Olerud at first base. Miguel Cairo at second base hitting eighth. And Kenny Lofton is the designated hitter here in Game 3. Carlos Silva on the mound. And here we go. Silva to Derek Jeter. Silva's first postseason experience. And Jeter swinging in the first pitch. Guzman throws him out.
Well, that could be a big help for Silva because, I mean, he's a guy that does not want to get deep into the count. And if you swing the first pitch on him, you're going to help him out a lot. There you see the opponent's batting average. I mean, that is unbelievable. 310, and the guy has a 4.14 wins and 8 losses, 255 hits in 203 innings. Those are telltale numbers. That means there'll be a lot of men on base.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. He had a 4-hit game in Game 2 and is 6 for 10 in this series. 1 homer, 3 RBIs so far in the postseason for Alex Rodriguez. But every time they needed a big hit, it seemed like in Game 2, he was the one who delivered. That one just misses. Brian Gorman is the home plate umpire tonight. Mike Everett, Jerry Crawford, Paul Nauert around the infield from first to third. Charlie Relaford along the left field line. Mark Wagner along the right field line. And that one is right to Guzman. Out number 2. And that's always a good strategy. Get him to hit it to Guzman.
Well, that's a good game plan because he is a great glove man. And let's take a look at the other twins that are behind Silva. You have Jock Jones in right field. Torrey Hunter's a perennial Gold Glove winner. And there you see Jock Jones, his fielding percentage better than anyone else in right field in the American League. He did not make a real strong throw to the plate the other day, but he is a good player.
Derek Jeter scored the winning run as Jock Jones threw the ball to the cutoff man. And that one is in there for a strike to Gary Sheffield. Sheffield, 1 hit in 7 at-bats so far. That 1 hit was a home run in Game 2. 2 down, nobody on. Silva's gotten a couple of ground balls already. That ball is popped foul and out of play. Silva is from Venezuela, 25 years old. His first 4 years as starting pitcher. This was Alex Rodriguez's big hit in the 12th inning that tied the ball game and set up the winning run. And Matsui got the sacrifice fly right after it. Silva missing inside. A-Rod actually would have won the game had the ball not bounced over the fence. Jeter would have scored on his head. Crowd on its feet waving the Yankees. 2 down, nobody on. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Muscled into shallow left field. Guzman sprinting out, but he can't get to it. Ball dropped in at about the 20-yard line. So Sheffield just kind of muscled one out there. Well, you were talking about that throw by Jock Jones, Joe. Let's take a look.
Well, you see he was backing up a little bit, but his throw went right to the cutoff man. No way it was going to reach the plate in time to get Jeter. So LaCroix cut it off and tried to make the throw, but obviously was not quick enough. but not a real strong throw. And I don't know if he was trying to hit the cutoff man or if he was just threw it off line.
Now here is Hideki Matsui. And it's fouled back to the screen. Well, because he seemed intent on getting rid of the ball quickly, but did not have a whole lot on the throw. Matsui, 3 hits, 8 at-bats, including that game-winning RBI in Game 2. Matsui, after a season where he hit 31 homers and had 108 RBIs. Carlos Silva's come out throwing strikes. He's had a first pitch strike to all 4 of the hitters in this inning. Sheffield back to the bag. By the way, when you talk to the Twins and you talk to Twins players and whatnot, people with the Twins, and you ask them about the Jock Jones play the other night, they all say, hey, you know, Jock, his mind has been with the tragedy in his family. His father died at a very young age. Jock had been back, and it's a well-known story by now, back home before this series started with his mom and his family, and then after Game 2, he went right back out to California for the funeral, which was yesterday. And back to the bag is Sheffield.
Well, you don't expect Sheffield to steal many bases. If he does, it'll be in a late game situation where he's trying to get himself in the scoring position for the winning run. I don't think you'll see him steal early in the ball game.
2 down. There he goes.
As soon as I say that, there's a hit and run.
That one is a foul off the left field line and back out of play. And Sheffield will go back to first.
And Guzman was covering, so Matsui did try to hit it to the left side.
So with the runner going, Guzman covering, that was the big hole in the infield that Matsui was trying to exploit. There's Kevin Brown, all warmed up. Got the arm covered up with a big towel. Getting ready for the last of the first inning. Sheffield runs again. Now a throwdown, and they tag! Beautiful play by Guzman. He took it on a bounce and made an acrobatic tag to get Sheffield. The Yankees are gone. The Twins are coming up against Kevin Brown when we return. Yankees nothing, and the Twins coming to the plate now beneath the plastic sort of fabric dome here at the Metrodome. Christian Guzman fielded a couple of ground balls flawlessly, and then he made a spectacular play to get the tag out on Sheffield to end the inning. Now the Twins batting order. Shannon Stewart leads off left field. It'll be Jock Jones in right field. He's had a home run. Torrey Hunter almost was the hero in Game 2. He's in center. Justin Morneau, who also had a big hit against Mariano Rivera, he's at first. Corey Koski had a huge hit against Rivera that tied the game. He's at third. Lou Ford back in the lineup, the designated hitter. Christian Guzman at short, hitting 7th. Michael Kadire at second base, and Henry Blanco is the catcher, batting 9th, going up against Kevin Brown. He's been around a long time, and he's had experience in the postseason, Joe, although the last time he pitched in a postseason game was 6 years ago.
But he's still a big game pitcher. Once you know how to pitch in the playoffs, you can always reach back and gather your thoughts in that direction. One good thing that's going for him today is the fact that this AstroTurf is not nearly as quick as it used to be.
1 ball and no strikes.
It used to be more like a pinball machine. Ball just went all over the place. Now it's a lot softer, and it plays more like a regular dirt infield. It's not any quicker than that.
Kind of a wild swing in that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Don't forget now, the first game of the WNBA Finals will be coming up here on ESPN2 as soon as the Red Sox-Angels game over on ESPN is finished. This game, the Twins-Yankees, will be moved over to ESPN at that point, and the WNBA game will be right here on ESPN2 at that time. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Shannon Stewart.
One of the things you'll have to do if you are the Twins, give Kevin Brown a chance to get deep into the count. Try to make him throw a lot of pitches early. Remember, he has not pitched much the last couple of months, so try to make him throw a lot of pitches early.
1 and 2. And that had a lot of sinking action to
I think
it.
that was a splitter more than anything else. He throws one every once in a while. But he's a sinker, slider, pitcher most of the time. And he will get some ground balls, and that's where your defense will come in on the infield. Your inner defense is going to be very important with a guy like Kevin Brown pitching. And your positioning, because you can't run balls down on AstroTurf.
2-2. Soft roller to Jeter. And he throws out Stewart, who was speeding up the first base line. One away. Kevin Brown 5 weeks ago punched a wall at Yankee Stadium in frustration. Broke a bone in his left hand and missed a long time. Had surgery on the hand on the 5th of September. So his next outing was not until the 26th against the Boston Red Sox. And that did not last very long. He got clobbered and was knocked out in the first inning. But this past weekend against the Blue Jays, he went 5 strong innings, and that convinced Joe Torre that he could count on him here in the postseason. He throws a strike to Jock Jones. Kevin Brown has not faced the Minnesota Twins in 9 years. 1995 was the last time. There are not many guys in this Twins ball club who've ever faced him. And Joe Torre thinks that should work in Kevin Brown's favor. That's ruled a swing by Brian Gorman, and it's 0-2. What do you think, Joe?
Well, it does always favor the pitcher when you have not seen him very often or haven't seen him much. But I still think that, you know, the Twins, everything is in their favor here because this is their home park. They like to play here. And the park really is kind of built for them. You know, AstroTurf puts a premium on speed and defense. And those are the things that they have the abundance of. They play great defense, and they have a lot of speed.
Check swing down and away. So the count now is 2-2 to Jock Jones. Torrey Hunter on deck. The only guy in the Twins starting lineup who has ever faced Kevin Brown in the big league game is Henry Blanco, the catcher, who will bat 9. 2-2. That one again, maybe the splitter again. I mean, that one just disappeared as he started swinging. 90 miles an hour. Brown's always had a lot of movement on that sinker and whatever he throws. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Now Brown ready. Left center field. Way back, Bernie Williams. Way back there. This ball is gone. A home run for Jock Jones. 1-0, Minnesota. Another opposite field home run for Jock Jones.
Well, that's the point I was making, John. Make him get deep in the count. That gives you a chance to see a lot of his pitches, and then you're a better hitter if you have seen a lot of his pitches, especially when you haven't faced him before.
And that's a strike to Torrey Hunter. Jock Jones with a big moment. A home run here at the Metrodome. Now Hunter, high drive, left field, but not deep enough this time. Matsui near the warning track. And that is out number 2. Torrey Hunter retired. Jock Jones with 1 out and the 6th pitch of the at-bat, Joe.
Well, he got a fastball and it stays up. See, that one doesn't sink nearly as much as the other pitches. And the longer you can keep Brown in the count, the more mistakes he's liable to make because he is not as sharp as he would like to be.
Now Justin Morneau, the young slugger, 22 homers in the minors, 19 in the big leagues all this year, 41 total. Well, they got Torrey Hunter out. That's worth a news bulletin. Torrey Hunter had the home run that might have been a game winner, but not quite the other night. Now 4 for 11, and Morneau with a big swing and a foul back to the screen. By the way, that game in Boston is over, and that series is over. The Boston Red Sox have defeated the Anaheim Angels on a game-ending home run by David Ortiz. So the Red Sox sweep that series, and they will be awaiting the winner of this series. It's back out of play. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Also Gary Miller here with us. We're at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. A huge crowd has gathered, all with their Homer hankies in hand. And the Minnesota Twins have jumped ahead 1-0 on a home run by Jock Jones to left center against Kevin Brown. Now Justin Morneau, the Twins' young, strapping cleanup hitter, hits a foul off to the left. And as did Jock Jones, Justin Morneau making Brown throw a lot of pitches here.
And again, when a guy's not sharp, Brown has not pitched a lot of innings the last couple of months. When you're not sharp, the more pitches you have to throw to one hitter, the more chances of you making a mistake and leaving the fastball up in the zone.
Kevin Brown. And Morneau fouls that one. Jock Jones, this was the 6th pitch that he saw.
And that was a fastball that did not do very much, didn't sink as Brown's normal fastball does. And Jock Jones, of course, happy to put the Twins ahead in this ball game.
He hit one to give him a little extra insurance against Mike Messina in Game 1. And puts them ahead here in Game 3. Morneau loops one. Coming hard is Matsui. Now he gets there. That ends the inning. But the Twins have gone ahead. Jock Jones home run. 1-0 as we head to the 2nd inning now. Now on ESPN2, we want to remind you the WNBA Finals will be coming up right after this commercial break. So we're moving over to ESPN with the ball game. The WNBA Finals coming up on ESPN2. Here's Carlos Silva now going to work in the 2nd inning with a 1-0 lead, and he throws a called strike to Hideki Matsui. Matsui was at the plate when Gary Sheffield got thrown out trying to steal to end the 1st inning. Inside for a ball. Now Carlos Silva, 25 years old, from Venezuela, and among all of the pitchers who threw enough innings to qualify for the ERA title. That is caught by Guzman. But it continues to make him hit it at Guzman.
That's a smart pitcher, but he is an excellent defensive player. It's interesting when you watch Matsui, he just kind of sets his hands, no movement, and then he attacks the ball. And he hit this ball awfully hard. They had him played perfectly, and Guzman right there to make the catch. Very rarely do you see a hitter walk to the plate, do not take practice swings, do not do anything. He just sets his hands there and goes to work.
Bernie Williams with a couple of practice swings, and he takes 2 high for ball 1. Bernie, a switch hitter, and in this series he's had 2 hits and 8 at-bats. 1-0. The Twins are leading. Carlos Silva, and for those of you who've been watching the Red Sox-Angels game, we're repeating a few things that we had mentioned at the outset of the telecast. That's a foul out of play for Bernie. 1 ball, 1 strike. But opposing hitters had a .310 batting average against Silva, which was the 2nd worst such figure in baseball. But he was 14-8. 14 wins, only 8 losses for the year. They got him in a trade before the season with the Philadelphia Phillies, where they sent Eric Milton over to Philadelphia, and they got Carlos Silva and Nick Punto. And they put him in the rotation. And Silva actually got better and better as the season went along.
Well, he started to master his breaking ball and off-speed pitches.
2-2 to count. In September, Silva did his best pitching. He was 4-0 with a 1.72 ERA.
And that's a direct reflection of the fact that he's just stopped trying to blow people away and started using his slider and his changeup.
Broken back. Kadire, number 2. Well, it looks like somebody else can feel the ball besides Christian Guzman. He'd been involved in each of the first 4 outs of the game. Back of Silva, fielding 2 grounders, making the tag on a spectacular play to get Gary Sheffield to end the 1st inning, and then catching the liner here by Matsui. Christian Guzman and defense. That's what the Twins are all about.
That's exactly what they do best. They play great defense, and defense and pitching obviously will always keep you in the ball game.
That's a foul hit by Jorge Posada. Yankees powerful catcher. This year, 21 homers.
And even though, John, everyone's all excited because the Yankees won Game 2, I mean, it's still 1-1. The Twins won split in Yankee Stadium. You come home with a split, you always feel like you're ahead of the game when you start in the opposing team's home field. So if you're the Twins, you just say, hey, we lost Game 2, but that puts us even. Now we're at home where we can take advantage and control the series.
2 down, nobody on. Posada batted, 1-0. The Twins lead, and that sinker runs down and away. 2 balls and a strike with John Olerud on deck. I asked Terry Ryan, the general manager of the Twins, about the trade that brought Silva here, and he said they needed to free up some salary. That's a base hit to center field. Milton was going to get something like $9 million this year, so they sent him off to the Phillies. Saved a lot of money there, and he said he used a lot of that money to re-sign Shannon Stewart to a 3-year contract. We're in the Metrodome, Game 3 of the American League Division Series. The winner of this series will take on the Boston Red Sox in the League Championship Series starting Tuesday. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan and Gary Miller. Jock Jones with a solo homer in the bottom of the first to put the Twins ahead here, 1-0. Carlos Silva pitching for the Twins versus Kevin Brown. That one is rolled and past the diving Guzman, and a base hit for John Olerud. Posada goes to second and holds there.
And there is the point we talked about with the AstroTurf. When the ball doesn't bounce, it actually rolls quicker. But when it bounces on this new AstroTurf, it slows a little bit. And watch, this is a hard ground ball. See, that one stays low. It doesn't bounce. It's just rolling through, and it gets past the diving Guzman, just barely off the tip of his glove, maybe. But anytime the ball bounces, it's going to slow down. But a hard rolling ground ball picks up speed on this stuff.
Now Miguel Cairo with 2 men on and 2 men out. The Yankees getting a couple of hits here after 2 were down. Cairo got the big walk in the 12th inning to start what proved to be the winning rally. And he takes a called strike. And it was interesting. You know, everything was so scrutinized in that ball game because it was such a tense game and an interesting game, an exciting game. But Joe Torre won the ball game, and yet even then people were saying, how come we let Cairo hit? That ball's a bloop. That's in there, base hit. So Cairo knocks in the tying run. Coming in to score is Posada. Going to third is Olerud ahead of the throw. So the bloop single by Cairo, and the Yankees with 3 consecutive 2-out hits have tied the game.
Well, one thing to remember, Cairo hit 290. 292 to be exact. So, I mean, it's not like he's not a good hitter. I mean, the guy puts the ball in play, and Joe Torre says he knew that he would have a good at-bat, and that's what you want when you're behind. He just kind of fights this ball off and lines it down the right field line over the head of Mornay at first base, Morneau, and drives in the first Yankee run.
Cairo, yeah, Joe said that Cairo, especially down the stretch, you just swinging the bat so well. Now the ball by Kenny Lofton into left field. That one is falling. Base hit. Coming in to score the go-ahead run is Olerud. Cairo stops at second. Man, a lot of first ball swinging going on right here. Kenny Lofton, in his first trip to the plate in this series, knocks in the go-ahead run for the Yankees.
And Kenny Lofton has always enjoyed the playoffs and the big stage of the World Series. I mean, he loves playing in these games, and he's very disappointed he wasn't playing in Game 2. But he reaches out. This is actually a bad pitch, and flips it to left field in front of Shannon Stewart, and the Yankees have another run.
And there's Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, going out to speak to Carlos Silva, who is rolling along, and all of a sudden 4 consecutive singles by the Yankees. Now, this is a club that you don't think you're hitting 4 consecutive singles, but that's part of the story for Silva this year. I'm sure he had a lot of innings where he gave up a lot of hits.
Well, as I said in the beginning, he gave up 52 more hits, 252 hits in 203 innings. That tells you that he gives up a lot of hits. There are going to be a lot of guys on base. It's just a matter of whether the Yankees will come through with clutch hits or not.
So they've had 4 consecutive 2-out singles. They lead 2-1. Here is Derek Jeter. He grounded out to short on the first pitch of the ninth, and he takes a called strike.
You know, it's interesting, John. We're talking about Jeter being already the star of this series, and it's only gone 2 games, and he started today hitting 250. That tells you how good a player he is, that he can do more than just swing the bat. I mean, he helps you win games in a lot of different ways. Because I was surprised that he was only hitting 250 when I looked.
That's Chulo. Blanco came up ready to throw as Cairo, he thought, was taking liberties at second base, but Cairo went back to the bag. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Derek Jeter. Well, Jeter in that game, he hit a home run into the black painted bleachers in center at Yankee Stadium. As Joe Torre called it, he says he hit one into Reggie Land. And then he had a sacrifice bunt later on, and then he scores the winning run with some excellent heads-up base running.
And that's the pitch that I think makes the difference with Silva. He takes a little bit off, and the ball really goes down. But in the past, he was an excitable individual, and whenever he got in trouble, he just tried to throw harder.
With 2 down and 2 strikes, Twins fans on their feet, waving those hankies. Alex Rodriguez would be next. Down and away with that sinker. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's A-Rod on deck. Jeter has not yet had a hit against Silva. It's not like he's faced him very often. He's 0 for 3 against him now. 4 consecutive hits for the Yankees against Carlos Silva. Cairo at second, Lofton at first. And that's a 5th consecutive hit. And Cairo comes home with the 3rd run as Stewart throws into 3rd. Just a ground ball in that turf and right through the hole. Derek Jeter gets the Yankees their 3rd run. Alex Rodriguez coming up.
Well, a good job of hitting, except Silva was trying to get this ball down more and in, and he did not. It was down, but it was not in enough. Jeter grounded through the left side. And here's the one thing to look for later in this ballgame. You have to be able to run well enough to score from second base on base hits. A lot of times when you play on AstroTurf, guys can't score.
Alex Rodriguez, the 8th hitter of the inning. Can't score when the ball gets to the outfielder so quickly.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that you have to be aware of. As I said earlier, AstroTurf puts a premium on speed and quickness and defense. So you have to be able to play that game to do well here in the dome.
A-Rod sliding just off the corner. Alex Rodriguez grounded out to short his first time. Kyle Loesch, the right-hander, normally a starter for the Twins in the regular season, warming up in the bullpen here. 5 consecutive hits, all singles. Alex Rodriguez trying to deliver more. Pops it up. On the right side, Kadire, the second baseman. And that is the inning. 5 consecutive 2-out hits. Yankees 3, Twins 1. Koski coming up. Yankees 3, Twins 1 from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. And now the Twins come to bat, trailing for the first time in this game. Corey Koski, the 5th place hitter and the Twins' leading home run hitter during the season. Hit sharply, but right to Cairo. And there is quickly 1 away.
And let's take a look at the Yankees defensively. Their defense is not as quick or as good overall as the Twins. The Twins have an excellent defense, but you have Posada behind the plate. And I don't think he ever gets enough credit for what he does, because he has had to be the guy to control all these different types of pitchers, from Clemens to Pettit to Brown, and he's always done a good job of calling pitches using their strengths. He doesn't have any one particular way of calling the game. He's not, say, a fastball catcher or a breaking ball catcher. He uses the strength of the pitcher.
Lou Ford back in the lineup for the Twins. Ford, who hit .299 during the season with 15 homers, 72 batted in. Also had 20 steals. And a high slider there from Brown, but popped foul and into the upper deck off to the right.
And what I was talking about, there are catchers who are fastball calling pitch calling catcher, and there are guys who call a lot of curveballs, all speed pitches, and you know who they are. Posada, like I said, he changes with whomever's pitching.
1-2 the count. That breaking ball past Brown. There's Derek Jeter, and he throws it into the dugout. And Lou Ford showing off that speed right there, and he'll be awarded second base with that throw going into the dugout.
Well, this is another AstroTurf moment because this ball was chopped over the mound. Normally, Jeter would be able to come and get it in front of the bag, but because it's on AstroTurf, it bounces. He would be able to cut it off, but he can't cut it off. He has to go behind the bag, get it. Now he's on the move, has to throw across his body, and it's just a difficult play. I think they should score this a base hit. Normally he would cut in front of the bag. He was not able to cut in front of the bag, and that makes you run. That gives your body angle a much more difficult throw when you're running toward right field.
And he is given credit for an infield hit, plus the throwing error by Jeter for allowing him to go to second base. And that is the first error by either team in this series. Now Christian Guzman. Ford the runner at second. Guzman, left-handed hitter. Well, he's a switch hitter, batting left-handed. Cairo knocks it down, keeps it on the infield, but can't make a play. Ford had to stop at third because Cairo kept that ball in the infield.
This is what the AstroTurf forces you to do. Bouncing balls force you to catch it deeper. Hard hit balls force you to dive for them when a lot of times you'd be able to round the ball and get in front of it. AstroTurf takes a different type of a player. You have to cut the angle off instead of going deep. You see where he's going deep out there? What that does is force you to have to cover more ground. You've got to cut the ball off on AstroTurf. And we saw Jeter wasn't able to do it, and there Cairo wasn't able to do it.
Guzman back to the bag. Guzman had 10 steals this year. Ford, the runner at third, had 20 steals. The batter will be Michael Kadire. The Twins with 3 hits against Brown now, but 2 of them infield hits in this inning on the turf. Yankee infield double play depth. Brown with that sinker for a strike on the inside. You see Brown had that big leg kick, Joe. Is this a guy you can steal a base against?
Well, you can steal a base against him, but you're down 3-1, and he's not thinking about that. He's thinking about the hitter, although I think Posada is going to go out and remind him. Let me make the point again, John, when you're playing infield, on AstroTurf, you're playing angles. You're not playing the ball. You're playing angles to get to the ball. Cut it off here, because if you cut it off back here, the ball has a tendency to get away from you. So you have to play the angles on AstroTurf where you play the ball on dirt.
1-1 the count to Kadire, and it's 0-2.
Now watch, he'll go back here. That makes it farther to go. If you cut it off, you got to cut off the angle. By that I mean just go straight across rather than going deep. The deeper you go, the more ground you have to cover because the ball doesn't slow down on AstroTurf.
Runners at first and third, 1 out. And back to the bag is Guzman.
And remember, there are only a couple of AstroTurf fields in all of baseball now. And so players just are not accustomed to playing that angle. The Twins are, of course, because they play here every day, half the season.
And back to the bag again is Guzman.
That's why you have such a home field advantage normally if you're the Twins. And it used to be more of a home field advantage when the turf was faster and didn't hop as much.
And that was, Joe Choi said it was like playing on cement.
Yeah, it was. I played when it was like that here. It's very difficult to play.
Guzman is running. Kadire strikes out. Guzman steals the bag, uncontested, with Ford having to hold it third. 2 down, runners at second and third. Let's go to Gary Miller.
John and Joe, the thing to watch for with Kevin Brown, his hand isn't much of a factor anymore. It's the back that's been a chronic problem throughout his career. When he didn't last one inning in Boston, it was flexibility. He just couldn't do with his body what he wanted to do. Those 5 innings without an earned run in Toronto, he was much more himself. It's what to watch tonight in his follow-through. He says he'll pitch through pain, but he clearly is not his old self, but it may be good enough tonight if he can get some flexibility in that back.
Now Henry Blanco. And is it second and third? And he swings at a high slider, popping it foul. Alex Rodriguez comes over, and the ball is in amongst the spectators, out of play. It was a difficult season for Brown. I mean, he had that back pain almost all season long. He also had to battle an intestinal parasite that sapped his strength, caused him to lose weight, and really caused him a great deal of consternation because he didn't even know what was going on with his own body. And then finally, one night when things weren't going well in early September, he pounded his left fist on a wall, a cement wall in the clubhouse, breaking a bone in the left hand. He's had to deal with that back pain, though. Joe Torre says sometimes it just, as Gary was talking about, gets to a point where he doesn't have the kind of movement that he needs to be successful out there. The freedom of movement. 0-2 the count to Henry Blanco. Blanco is the only guy in the Twins lineup who has faced Brown in a big league game before tonight.
John, I want to correct something. I called it AstroTurf because that was the original surface. This is next turf. So that's the next generation.
Well, it's all AstroTurf to me.
Well, it is to me too. This is the next generation. So I'm just going to call it turf. How's that? But it's a little different. The original AstroTurf was more like a carpet, I guess, and this is next turf. Well, looks like grass a little bit there. It has some blades, but it doesn't really look like that when you're standing on it. But there are some blades there, or artificial blades.
Our director Jimmy Moore wants to put some Christmas tree lights on it and take it home. That one is right to A-Rod. And that is the inning. The Twins get a couple of hits, but lead 2. Sheffield, Matsui, Bernie Williams coming up 3-1 Yankees.
ESPN's Major League Baseball Division Series, presented by Budweiser. Brought to you by Levi's Jeans, a style for every story. And Shaun of the Dead, now playing in theaters everywhere.
I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, and we are at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. The Yankees with a flood of singles for this power hitting team to go ahead in this game with a 3-run second inning rally. The slider misses to Gary Sheffield, who singled his first time and was then thrown out trying to steal to end the first inning. Sheffield is 1 for 1. Matsui, the cleanup hitter, on deck, and then Bernie Williams due up third. Sheffield drives one deep down the left field line, but foul.
I wonder how many foul home runs he hits during the year. I mean, every game we watch, he hits at least one.
Well, and I enjoy every one of them. He hit one. His home run on Wednesday was similar to the foul ball he just hit here. Screamer down the line. That is a screamer into left center field, into the alleyway, up against the wall. Stewart plays the carom as Sheffield eases into second with a stand-up double.
Reggie Jackson and I were standing there watching him take batting practice, and he was hitting the ball so hard. I said, man, have you seen anybody hit the ball this hard nowadays? And he said he brought back guys like Willie McCovey, Willie Stargell. He said they hit it like this. I mean, when he hits the ball, it's just hard. I mean, this ball gets between them so quickly. I mean, no chance to even cut it off, and they're already playing deep. I mean, I don't think anyone's hit line drives as hard as Gary Sheffield does.
Well, we might get an argument from Red Sox fans on maybe David Ortiz.
No.
Manny Ramirez.
No. I don't think they would argue with me on that course. They would argue that the Red Sox are better than the Yankees, but they can't hit it as hard.
Matsui, 1 ball and no strikes. At this moment, I don't believe that you could get a concession from a Red Sox fan
about
that any Yankee does anything better. That's a shot, short hopped, Now they've got Sheffield hung up, and he made a mistake. Through to third was Sheffield midway, and Sheffield took the opportunity to go back to first. Morneau got geeked into a mistake there by Sheffield.
Well, that was a good job by Gary Sheffield. He got far enough off that if Morneau would have gone to the bag, he could have taken off a third. But he wasn't far enough off second that Morneau could throw to second to get him. And the umpire does a great job here. Watch, he signals safe right away. That means he didn't catch it. So now Sheffield fakes to third and gets back to second. But I tell you what, they're hitting it hard off of Silva.
I mean, that was a shot that was short hopped by Morneau, but you saw the play right there, and you said it, Joe. I mean, as soon as Sheffield dug for third, Morneau made the throw. Now that could be two. Guzman gets one over to first. Two. A double play. Sheffield moves to third on this one.
I'm going to show you the difference here. And you watch Guzman. He goes at the angle. He cuts the ball off. He doesn't go deep where the ball will, take him behind the bag. He just takes the angle that will get to the ball the quickest. And that's what you have to do on AstroTurf. Or next turf. Or any kind of turf.
On phony turf.
On artificial turf.
Fake turf. You can say it.
No, I'm just going to say turf.
It's fake.
Okay.
They're pretending that it's grass, but it's fake.
Watch where he goes right there. See that? He does not go back behind the bag. He went right to the angle, cut the angle off, and that allows you to make the play. But that comes from playing here every, half your games here. He knows exactly which angle to take on every ground ball.
The curveball is ripped foul deep down the right field line by Posada. Posada came up with 2 down and nobody out in the second inning and hit a single. And then the Yankees hit 4 more singles in a row before the third out was recorded. They got 3 runs out of it. They lead 3-1. Bernie Williams having just hit the double play ball. Sheffield moving to third. 2 down. Inside. A ball and 2 strikes to Posada. John Olerud on deck. Fans trying to rally behind Carlos Silva. He looks at Sheffield. Throws a fastball. Strike 3 call. 1 hit, 1 left. Top of the order, Stewart, Jones, Torrey Hunter. 3-1 Yankees. Kevin Brown throws a breaking ball to Shannon Stewart, too low for ball 1. Shannon Stewart, Jock Jones, Torrey Hunter, the top of the order coming up for the Twins here in the third inning. The Yankees are leading 3-1. Kevin Brown back to work. Got the knees for a strike. Brown has now thrown 44 pitches in this game. And while Joe Torre said that they're not necessarily going to count pitches on him tonight, but he would be ecstatic with whatever Brown could give him. Nice backhand grab, but the throw did not have much on it from Kadire, and it's from Cairo, and it's an infield hit for Shannon Stewart. He tried to use that turf for the old Davey Concepcion.
Yeah, Davey started doing that years ago. Let's take a look here. The ball will go here. He starts here. And on this AstroTurf, you have to cut the angle off here. If you don't get it here, you're not going to throw the guy out. When you catch it back there, you're not going to be able to throw anyone out. And that's the problem. See the angle he takes? He has to go away from the infield. And then he can't get anything on the throw. And you have to cut the angle off. If you don't cut the angle off and the ball goes through, so what? But that's why this turf puts a premium on speed and quickness. Your first 2 steps make the difference.
There's Jock Jones.
Man, he doesn't get cheated, does he?
Fouled that one off the catcher. What do you think he was trying to do on that pitch?
Yeah. He just lets it go.
And he's not a big guy, but he's got a lot of power. And the Yankees, they already knew that, but they're having to have it revisited on them the hard way. I mean, he's hit twice home runs in this series in the first 3 games, including his home run tonight. Jock is only 5 feet 10 inches tall, but he had 24 homers this year. 2 years ago, he had 27 home runs. And back to the bag is Shannon Stewart. Stewart can run. He's got some speed.
And when you have a guy that will steal bases, Kevin Brown does change his approach to the plate. Sometimes he'll almost slide step. Other time he just doesn't hold it at the waist very long.
Brown held a long time there. That's a double play ball. Jeter steps in the bag 1. Over to first. 2. A double play.
Again, it's always easier if the shortstop can take it himself, because his body and everything else is going toward the bag, and there's never a chance to mishandle the ball. And look at this. This is perfect. Get it, go right at the runner, make him get down, and everything becomes easy. You just play catch with the first baseman. And he runs, he tells Cairo, I've got it. Cairo gets out of the way, and he fires a strike.
So 2 down, nobody on for Torrey Hunter, and the slider misses. Torrey drove one deep to left field, but caught at the edge of the warning track by Hideki Matsui, so he is 0 for 1. 3-1, the Yankees are leading. And that one sinks off the glove with Posada back to the screen. 2 balls and no strikes. We're in the last half of the 3rd inning here from the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Game 3 of the American League Division Series. The Yankees and Twins are tied a game apiece. The Twins jumped ahead against Kevin Brown on Jock Jones' first inning home run, but then the Yankees strung together 5 consecutive 2-out singles in the 2nd inning to score 3, and they lead 3-1 here in the last of the 3rd. 2 down, nobody on, and the captain Torrey Hunter is now 2-1.
You know, John, what I've always liked about Kevin Brown is he does not pitch to the hitter's weakness. He pitches to his strengths. He uses his sinker, he uses his slider, and he uses his forkball. He doesn't care if you're a good breaking ball hitter or not. He will still throw you his splitter. He will still throw you his slider and his sinker. He just decides that he has better stuff than you are a hitter, and he just comes right after you. And that's why one of the reasons he's been so successful in his career.
He's blown a couple right past Torrey Hunter. 2-2 the count, and a high fly ball into center. Bernie Williams waiting for it, and that is the inning. So Kevin Brown with 3 strong innings, which is what the Yankees are hoping. Top of the 4th inning, the Yankees lead the Twins 3-1 from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. John Olerud, the 7th place hitter, leads off against Carlos Silva, who misses low with ball 1. Olerud had the 2nd of those 5 straight singles hit in the 2nd inning that got the Yanks their 3 runs. Miguel Cairo and Kenny Lofton to follow. And that's a ball. You know, today, Joe, we were sad to learn that Angelo Giuliani, a longtime baseball man, a legendary scout with the Twins and legendary in this part of the country, he passed away. He goes so far back, he used to be a catcher for the Washington Senators and was on the field. He was the catcher that day on Lou Gehrig Day, the day of the "Consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth" speech by Gehrig in 1939. Send our prayers and best wishes to the family of Angelo Giuliani. And a little bit later here in the inning, we're going to have Gary Miller meet with a couple of former great Twins.
Well, John, while you mentioned, we also send our condolences to John Cerruti's family, who passed away this past week also.
In foul ground, Guzman, and Olerud is retired. Let's go down to Gary Miller.
John and Joe, I'm here with a who's who of the Twins. We got Ken Herbeck, Harmon Killebrew. We'll get to Harmon in a minute, but Angelo Giuliani signed you. You found out about it today on the golf course. What's your favorite memory of Angelo?
A very funny human being and a great guy. He was, he was my scout that signed me, followed me around when I was in high school. So I love the man to death. It's a sad day for Minnesota Twins.
Saw you around the batting cage with Don Mattingly, the Yankee hitting coach, and I said, didn't you have any resentment against him for winning all those gold gloves that you might have won? You said he doesn't have one of these. When you come back here for the postseason, what memory comes back to you most?
I think the fans, the pack in this place and the loud noises and stuff like that, and just hearing the scream and the Homer Hankies, it's a fun sight.
Well, you're here next to another all-time great, Harmon Killebrew, who you see Joe up in Cooperstown every year. Harmon, how do you feel about Washington getting a team again?
Oh, I'm excited. I think it's great. I think they deserve to have another ball club in there. In fact, I was sorry to see our club move out because we were just starting to become a good ball club when we moved to Minnesota. I'm not happy that I played all those years here because I love playing in Minnesota.
Now, you're in the 500 home run club, that elite club that's growing a little bit year by year. The ground ball by Cairo. The Twins get another out. As I was saying, Harmon, the 500 home run club, you played in the Met, though, which was cold and big. How many home runs do you think you would have hit in this place?
Well, I'm never going to hit another one. Let's make it a big number. I have no idea, but that was a great ballpark to play in out there. In the spring and the fall, the wind usually blew in. In the middle of the summer, it carried a lot better. So that was the difference in that ballpark playing outside.
Well, thanks a lot, Harmon. Throughout the first pitch, it's a who's who down here, guys.
Yeah, Gary sorting with some former Twins and some all-time greats there. And there's Tony Oliva. Yeah.
Rod Carew sitting next to Tony.
And the Twins used to have batting champions almost every year.
And they were fighting each other for the championship.
Lofton to Torrey Hunter. 3 up and 3 down. First time that's happened for Silva. Morneau and then Koski coming up. Game 3 of the American League Division Series. The Yankees leading the Twins 3-1. First game of the series played here at the Metrodome indoors in Minneapolis. Justin Morneau, the cleanup hitter for the Twins. Then Corey Koski and Lou Ford, the middle of the order, coming up against Kevin Brown, veteran right-hander. And they took a little something off that one into the zone 1 to the powerful Morneau, who flied out to shallow left center. But here's a young guy, Morneau, spent the first half of this year in the minor leagues, and he's facing a grizzled veteran. And he hits it hard to center. Bernie Williams, one away. Now let's get an update from the studio with Dave Refson.
Thank you, John. Here with Steve Phillips. 20th Century Fox's Day After Tomorrow brings us a dramatic finish in Boston. David Ortiz, Steve.
Terry Francona could have pinch run for Ortiz in the 8th, and he chose not to. It was a great decision. Came up in the right spot and delivered.
The home run in the 10th to win it. The Red Sox headed to the ALCS for the 2nd straight year. John and Joe?
But this time a sweep. And they will be able to rest and nurse any injuries that might be lingering, and also set up their rotation just the way they would want it for the League Championship Series. So Boston has won its series. Atlanta and Houston tied in the National League at a game apiece. St. Louis leading the Dodgers 2-0. And here the Yankees and the Twins tied at a game apiece. And a strike there to Koski. He didn't like the call. He's talking to Brian Gorman, the plate umpire, about it. Koski grounded out to second his first time.
Kevin Brown throws a fastball that starts off the plate inside and leans back over the plate. And that's very effective against left-handed hitters.
Ryan outside, 2-1. I asked Joe Torre if he got 6 good innings tonight from Kevin Brown, if he'd be satisfied with that. He says, I'd be satisfied with insert a number in front of good.
Yeah.
As long as they're good. Which I took to mean a good 4 innings, a good 5 innings, because he didn't know how long he's going to be able to last out there. 2-2.
And you have to give Brown a lot of credit, because when he first started, I thought he was a little shaky, and that if the Twins got him deep in the count, they could have some success against him, and they did. But he's changed his pattern. He is throwing strikes, and I mean, he's got great movement on all of his pitches.
39 years old, still in superb physical condition off the outside, although he's had a lot of regular visits to the disabled list with different injuries, especially back problems that often come with age.
Now, and as soon as I say I think he's throwing really well, anytime you see Kevin Brown taking more time, that tells me that something is not right. Maybe he's tiring a little bit or something, but
that's up the middle, and Koski has himself a base hit.
He does not normally take a lot of time between pitches.
Last year, the team split the first 2 games, the Twins and Yankees, in the division series in New York, and came here. The Yankees had Roger Clemens ready to go in Game 3, and the Rocket was dominating, and the Yankees won a tight ball game 3-1. And then David Wells, another veteran, big game pitcher, and they ended up blowing them out to move on with an 8-1 win.
Well, that shows you the difference. Last year it was Messina, Pettit, Clemens, and Wells. A little different this year. It was Messina, Lieber, and now Brown.
And the spins a slider through there for a strike to Lou Ford, who got an infield hit his first time. Bounced one over the mound. Jeter handled, but then threw wildly to first base. Now, Kevin Brown ordinarily would be a great choice, and any manager would love to have him for a big ball game. But the fact that he's only pitched 5 2/3 innings in the last 5 weeks is what makes it a little bit unknown in terms of what to expect from him tonight, although I think we've seen that he's looking pretty good so far. He's thrown 50 pitches in this game. He's gone to 3 balls on only 1 count. El Duque is active on the roster, but it's clear now he's not going to pitch in this series. Javier Vasquez will go tomorrow in Game 4. Joe Torre told us before the game tonight. The Twins tomorrow are going to go with their ace, Johan Santana, who's going to go on short rest.
And he has never pitched on 3 days rest before.
There's Santana in the background there.
The only pitcher in the American League that have an earned run average under 3.
Change up high and inside. Ball and a strike to Lou Ford. So tomorrow night, Vasquez 14 and 10, and then Santana, who was the best in the league, 20-game winner. I mean, Red Sox fans would argue for Curt Schilling, and that would be a strong argument. But nobody had an ERA as low as Santana. Nobody else in the league had an ERA below 3.
And he also led the league in strikeouts.
Dropped down with the side, and Ford hits a long foul down the left field line. Just soaring and very majestic looking.
But the one thing about Javier Vasquez, and I still believe that he's going to be a #1 pitcher on this Yankee staff before, it's all over. I mean, he's that good. And I think he had to adjust to pitching in, New York this year, just like A-Rod. I think A-Rod had an adjustment period as well. Orlando Hernandez, El Duque, everybody has to adjust to pitching in New York. There's a difference.
Well, for a long time in the summer, El Duque was the savior.
Yeah.
He became the ace of the stash.
Won his first 8 decisions.
And even the ones he didn't win, the no decisions, the Yankees were winning those too. But,
he told Torre he felt much better the other day. And so, if the Yankees are able to advance, you may see El Duque.
And the reason that, as we see John Lieber, who pitched so well the other night in Game 2, I mean, certainly kept his club in the game. He left ahead. That breaking ball popped up foul. Coming over, Posada along with Olerud, and just back out of play.
And a good job of Kevin Brown to go over. And the reason he was going over, not to catch it, but to help, make the decision on who was going to make the play if it was staying in the field of play. A lot of times you see a catcher and a first baseman go after the ball, and you're not, in one call or both call, and they run into each other. Brown's going to go over, and he's going to call for whomever has the better chance of catching it. But obviously no one had that opportunity.
I think he was calling for Ken Herbeck. Ken Herbeck up in the first row of the stands up there. I think he had the best shot at it.
And you can see a little difference here, John. Whenever you get to a guy like Brown who has great stuff, and all of a sudden he gets 2 strikes, but he's not putting guys away, they're fouling pitches off, it's taking more time to get them away, that tells you that he is losing a little bit of the sharpness on his pitches.
2-2 the count to Lou Ford. The runner goes. Ford rips one to third. A-Rod fields it cleanly and throws him out. With the runner Koski going, A-Rod's only plays to first base. 2 down. And now Christian Guzman will come up. Yankees still ahead 3-1. By the way, that shot we just saw, Armin Killebrew down there with Ken Herbeck, Rod Carew, and Tony Oliva. How about Tony Oliva? Jim Palmer once said he was the best hitter he ever faced, but he's not in the Hall of Fame.
There are so many guys that played against him that are in the Hall of Fame, pitchers who pitched against him that echo that sentiment, that say that he is the best hitter they ever faced. He came in like in the top 3 last year, and well, 2 years ago, in the voting on the Veterans Committee, and he's up again. He's one of the favorites this year to be elected into the Hall of Fame by the Veterans Committee.
Here's Christian Guzman. Over the middle. Cairo in shallow center. At least he'll keep the run from scoring. And he knew that was going to be the only thing he could hope for.
And that was definitely a turf hit. And a lot of times, it's not just the turf, but it's the dirt in front of home plate. Sometimes that dirt is very hard, and therefore you get the bounce off the dirt, which we'll see here. Watch this. Bounce off the dirt. That's not AstroTurf. That hits the dirt and takes the high bounce. And once it hits the AstroTurf, it's going to bounce even higher. So it's a base hit all the way. Anytime you hit a ball up the middle like that on AstroTurf or turf, it's going to be a base hit.
You see, now this is next turf.
Yeah.
And the ball doesn't bounce as high as the old turf here.
Correct.
Here is Michael Kadire trying to come through in the clutch for the Twins. Another infield hit for the Twins. Guzman back to the bag at first. He's at first. Koski's at third with 2 down. The Twins have had 6 hits in the game, and 4 of them have been infield hits. Ron Gardner looking on. His Twins have had a lot of guys get on base. But only 1 run. And he dropped down with that one, and Kadire foul tips it into the batter's box area. 1 strike to count. Kadire struck out in the 2nd inning. Well, they've made Brown work, and the pitch count is rising, but they've not been able to get the big hit against him.
But he has not been able to put the hitters away. I think that's the key. And when I say put away, that doesn't mean strike them out, but make them make a weak attempt at the ball, get a weak ground ball someplace, or a pop-up.
1 strike to Kadire. 2 on, 2 out. 3-1 Yankees. Drops down again, and that's a foul on the third base side. Quickly he's ahead of Kadire. 0-2. Kadire came up with runners at first and third in the 2nd inning and struck out. Now he's got first and third and 2 down here in the 4th inning. There's Koski, who had a single. And Guzman over at first. Olerud on the bag with him. Jock Jones home run in the 1st, the only run for the Twins so far. Brown peering in at Posada. 0-2 the count. And the slider down and away. Slider or cutter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Michael Kadire playing second base rather than Luis Rivas, although Ron Gardner gave us a hopeful report about Rivas' elbow, which has been painful enough to prevent him from playing other than just as a defensive replacement at second base. That's why Kadire's been in the lineup over the regular Rivas. Big chop, and that's foul. That took a high hop off that dirt.
Well, I think what you're seeing, because I think Brown is not necessarily tiring, but he's losing a little of the speed on his pitches. They're sinking more. He's getting a little more sink, and a lot of, sinker ball pitchers will tell you, as they start to tire a little bit, the ball starts to sink a little bit more, and that's why you're seeing them hit the top of the ball more than we saw in the first few innings of the ball game. I would say the first 3 innings.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, that dirt, groundskeepers have there's a tradition in baseball. Groundskeepers tailor the ballpark to fit their teams. And it figures the Twins have a lot of speed, not so much power, that they'd have that dirt very hard in front of the plate. Back to the bag is Guzman. Although I asked before the game, Ron Gardner, if they kept the dirt hard in front of the plate. And he said he wasn't sure. The groundskeeper was in charge of that. Also, of course, the Minnesota Vikings play football in this ballpark. There goes Guzman. The ground ball to Jeter. And that is the inning. 2 men stranded. On to the 5th inning now. The top of the order coming up with the Yankees, who lead 3-1. It'll be Jeter, A-Rod, and Sheffield. From the Metrodome in Minneapolis, it's Game 3 of the American League Division Series. The Yankees are leading the Twins 3-1 in this game. The series itself is tied at a game apiece. The big crowd, many toting their Homer hankies at the Metrodome. But so far, the Yankees, Kevin Brown has done just what Joe Torre hoped he'd do through the first 4 innings. He's got the lead 3-1. Derek Jeter leading it off, trying to bunt his way aboard, but he bunts it foul.
I saw a great article in the New York paper today, Derek Jeter. He said, my job is to get on base. Whether that's hit a home run, a double, single, bunt, whatever it is, take a walk. He said, my job as the leadoff hitter is to get on base. And you saw an example of the way he thinks right there. I mean, this is the small ballpark. He hit a home run yesterday, yet he's trying to bunt to get on base, to get something started here. And you can't feel too comfortable with a 3-1 lead if you're the Yankees, because you know the Twins are very dangerous in this ballpark. This is their home ballpark. They know how to play all the angles here. And you're not sure how long, you know, how many more innings you're going to be able to get from Kevin Brown. So I think it's very important if you're a Jeter to try to add something to the lead by getting on base and bringing up the big sluggers.
Pretty good eye there by Jeter on that off-speed pitch from Carlos Silva. No swing, says first base umpire Mike Everett.
But you see the difference in Silva. You know, earlier in the game when he got in trouble, he was just trying to throw harder and harder. He has been pitching better the last couple of innings, using his off-speed pitches, using his breaking ball.
Alex Rodriguez on deck, and Jeter takes the ball 2-2. Jeter had an RBI single in the second inning of this game. He has reached base now in 19 consecutive division series games. And these games are such high pressure. That's a foul out of play.
And a lot of those times, obviously, he was not hitting leadoff. They had Soriano for a while. They've had other people. He just recently, you know, moved up after Soriano left in the last half of last year to be the leadoff hitter. And I'm not sure, you know, where he likes to hit the most, but he can hit first or second in his lineup. He can get the job done. They hit him third for a while. I didn't think that was a good spot for him.
2-2 the count. And he pops it off the fists, foul into the crowd again.
And one of the reasons I didn't think he was as good in the third slot is just what we see. He's a very aggressive hitter. He goes after a lot of pitches, and he will not, you know, be nearly as patient with runners on base. There's Brian Cashman and Mr. October there, partially hidden behind the bars.
Brian Cashman, the Yankees general manager. And that breaking ball, you saw Jeter. He kind of had a little double clutch there, but kept the bat back and took a whack at it, fouling it back out of play.
Well, what that'll tell you is that maybe that breaking ball is a little too slow. Because if you can check, step, stride, then check on it, and if it gives you that much time, that means it was just a few miles an hour too slow.
This is the 8th pitch of the at-bat. And it continues on. Full count now to Jeter. 3-2. Gary Sheffield in the hole with Alex Rodriguez on deck. There's A-Rod.
And this is the time that this lineup tests you, because they've already seen you twice. You're going through this lineup for the 3rd time, and it gets more difficult once they've seen you.
Guzman. And Jeter gave him a battle, but Silva gets him. One away. Alex Rodriguez, his first postseason with the Yankees, but not his first postseason overall, and we talked to him about it.
I've always felt very good in October. I've played my best baseball of my career in October, and it's nice to come over here in my first 2 games and have 2 good games, but you know, we have a lot of work to do with this Twins team, and we feel good about where we're sitting.
Now first ball swinging, Alex Rodriguez, center field, pretty deep, but Torrey Hunter, very casually, he seemed to know that one was not going anywhere, and in deep center, he makes the catch out number 2.
I think that response by Alex Rodriguez was because of the fact that, you know, in New York today and yesterday they're saying, you know, he earned his stripes and he did this, he did that. Well, Alex Rodriguez has had a lot of great games in his career, and I think that's what he was trying to say. I've done a lot of these things that I did on Wednesday night. I've done these things before. So He feels comfortable, like he says, in October, and he feels comfortable being in the spotlight.
2 down. Gary Sheffield on the slider, rips one down the left field line and caught by Shannon Stewart. So after the long at bat by Jeter, A-Rod and Sheffield go on 1 pitch each. 3-1 Yankees. The American League Division Series on ESPN. The Red Sox have already won their series earlier tonight, beating the Anaheim Angels in extra innings on a home run by David Ortiz. And the winner of this series will be facing the Red Sox come next Tuesday. Right now the Yankees and Twins tied at a game apiece, but the Yankees leading game 3, 3-1. Last of the 5th inning, Henry Blanco, the 9th base hitter. And then the top of the order, Shannon Stewart and Jock Jones to follow. Against Kevin Brown, who's now thrown 63 pitches in this game. And that is a called strike.
And I think if you're Joe Torre, you have to really start watching Kevin closely right here, which I'm sure he will, because just watching those first 2 pitches here, he did not have the same snap, the same velocity on them.
And Blanco chased that breaking ball, and Cairo with Sheffield right behind him. There is one away.
And that was a smart pitch there by Brown. You know, he threw him a couple of fastballs, and then he floats the curveball out there, the slider. And watch, he just kind of floats this ball out there. The speed is what got him. It wasn't the break. That's why he swung at it. He thought he could handle it, but he was out in front of it and popped it up. And there's what you look up into when you on any pop-up or fly ball. It's gray up there. And the ball a lot of times will get lost in the gray.
I mean, the roof and the ball are almost
very
the same
similar.
color. Yeah. One down here, Shannon Stewart. Most guys who play here say when you go after a pop-up or a fly ball, you cannot take your eyes off it. If you do, you'll probably not be able to find it again when you look back up. Shannon Stewart, the leadoff man, has grounded out to short and had an infield single. The Twins have 6 hits against Brown, but 4 of them have been infield hits. Going inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. They've had a lot of guys reach base in the first 4 innings, but only 1 has scored, and ironically, that was on a solo homer by Jock Jones in the first inning. He's on deck. Shannon Stewart. And that's in there for a called strike 2. Kevin Brown, one of those guys that is a top pitcher, and top pitchers know how to keep their club in a ball game even when they don't have their great
He knows
stuff.
how to pitch. There's no doubt, and he's a tough competitor too.
Through that breaking ball, and Stewart fouled it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's Jock Jones on deck.
I mean, a lot of people question a lot of things about Kevin Brown, but they've never questioned his toughness or the fact that he likes to take the ball in these big games. And as you mentioned earlier, Joe Torre told us he thinks this is the pivotal game. The 3rd game is the most important game of the series, unless you lose and then the next one is.
There's that big chop to third. A-Rod gonna have to hurry. Nice play just in time. Shannon Stewart thought he had it beaten out, and the first base coach, Jerry White, also goes over to plead his case to Mike Everett, the first base umpire.
But it was an excellent play by Alex Rodriguez. This is not something you learn to do at shortstop. Charge the ball like this and get rid of it quickly at that angle. Look at that. 1 step and throw, almost sidearm. You do not, that's not something you do from shortstop. So he had to learn this year after playing shortstop all that time.
I'm still not convinced that they got him myself.
Well, I was actually watching the play and the release from A-Rod. I'd like to see it again. I just thought it was such a great play by A-Rod that, you know, something that he wasn't accustomed to doing until this year.
Jerry White grabs that one. The first base coach.
Well, I think you did get him, John. I know it's probably by about 3 inches, but very close. See, now he hits the bag, I think. I mean, it's like half an inch. Yeah, it was that close, but it looked like they did get him.
Jack Jones.
Let me look on another monitor. Well, I can't tell from that monitor, but from the other one, it looked like his foot. It looked like his foot was about an inch or two off the bag when they caught it.
1 ball and 2 strikes. So it could be that Everett got it right.
Yeah. Well,
which was a great call. I mean, that was a tough call. And he didn't get many cheers for the call that he made in this ballpark.
Plus, he didn't get to look at it in slow motion.
See, I'd be a terrible umpire.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that for 15 years. Well, go ahead.
I mean, I would always make the call to get the roar of the crowd.
Oh, okay.
Like they would somehow cheer for me. I would be totally influenced by the home crowd.
That's the umpire. You're right. You're not a good umpire.
Safe. And then I think they were cheering for me.
They might be if you make the proper call.
Well, I think he got the call right. 3-2 the count. There's Cairo. And Jock Jones retired. Well, Kevin Brown is on a roll. 5 innings, very solid. Matsui coming up.
ESPN's Major League Baseball Division Series, presented by Budweiser, brought to you by Choice Hotels. This fall, stay just 2 separate times and earn a free night at Choice Hotels.
Back at the Metrodome, and for the Yankees, the cleanup hitter Hideki Matsui leads off against Carlos Silva, and the breaking ball misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Silva has been pitching real well. He's retired 9 in a row, or 8 in a row for 9 outs. It's up and away for a ball. He had a jam in the 3rd inning when Sheffield doubled and Matsui reached on a fielder's choice, putting runners at 1st and 2nd with nobody out. But he got Bernie Williams to hit a double play ball, and he's retired everybody ever since. That is a fastball over the outside for a strike. 2-1. Bernie Williams, by the way, is on deck right here, and then Jorge Posada due up 3rd against Silva. 3-1, the Yankees lead. They got 5 consecutive singles after 2 were down in the 2nd inning for their 3 runs against Silva.
And 2 of those hits, John, were turf hits. By that, I mean, if they were on normal dirt, they would not have gotten through the infield. But the other 3 were clean and legitimate hits.
Up the middle, and Matsui's got a base hit. That's his first hit of the game. He's now 1 for 3. And the Yankees had their 8th hit all told against Silva. That's their first base runner since the 3rd inning. There has not been a walk issued in this game. Mel Stottlemyre on the phone. The Yankees are going to get the bullpen cranked up, it looks like. Yankees bullpen coach Rich Monteleone. John Flaherty, the Yankee catcher, the backup catcher, just went down to the pen. But we have seen no action going down there yet. There goes Matsui, and Bernie drives one deep to right field. Way back there, that ball is gone. Over the tarp. The tarp at 23 feet to the top, and you have to hit it over that for a home run, and Bernie did. Home run for Bernie Williams, and the Yankees lead 5-1.
And that was a line drive. That was not a fly ball. That's just a line drive right out of here. It was interesting. I saw a story in New York yesterday. Bernie saying a lot of people, think that he's on his way out, that he's finished. He's heard the rumors of Carlos Beltran coming to New York, but he says, I'm not ready to give up my job in center field. And he makes a big statement right here. That ball's right in the middle of the plate, middle of everything. And Bernie hits it like he was there.
Posada, and that's ball 1. Bernie Williams with his 3rd hit of this series, his first home run, and the 20th time that he has homered in a postseason game. 8 have been in division series games. And Bernie's been in a lot of those kind of games. That's a called strike on the outside.
And it was interesting. He said he heard the rumors of him being replaced. but, you know, his biggest fan over there is Joe Torre, and that makes a big difference, too.
J.C. Romero, the left-hander, getting up in the Minnesota bullpen now. And the Yankees bullpen, just as soon as Bernie hit that home run, the Yankees bullpen got up.
And remember, you know, in the opening game of this series, Bernie hit 4th in this lineup.
Bernie's been a big postseason performer. O'Reilly, the lefty, skirts the right-hander in the bullpen. That's a solid single to left field for Posada. That's 3 consecutive hits to start the inning. The Yankees leading 5-1 now.
Bernie Williams tried to assure everyone that, you know, he is going to still be the Yankee center fielder next year. And I mean, this ball is just drilled. That's a big fly right there.
So Gardenhire onto the mound, and Romero, the left-hander, is going to come in to face Olerud. Runner at first, nobody out. 5-1 Yankees. It's the American League Division Series on ESPN, presented by Budweiser. Game 3, the Yankees and the Twins from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. And right now, this big crowd is not happy. The Yankees, with that flurry of singles in the second inning to take the lead, and now their favorite weapon, this Yankee team, the most powerful in the history of the Yankees. They hit 242 home runs, breaking the Yankees all-time record of the Marison Mantle Yankees in '61, and now they have hit one. Bernie Williams, a 2-run shot here in the 6th, and now J.C. Romero comes in for Silva. Silva never retired a hitter here in the 6th inning. Matsui singled, Bernie homered, and Posada singled. So here's John Olerud. They pitch out thinking that something might be up, but nothing was going on. Does this seem like a likely double play combination, or a hit and run combination?
No, that seemed like a wasted pitch. But, you know, they were trying to see maybe if he was bunting or whatever. I don't think they were didn't think a hit and run would be on right away.
And the slider down and away for a ball. 2-0. Kevin Brown has gone 5. But as soon as Bernie hit the home run, that is when the Yankees got the bullpen on. As soon as they made it 5-1, the bullpen got up. He's thrown 76 pitches in 5 innings. And fastball at 93 miles an hour outside. 3-0. The right-handed batting Cairo is on deck.
Now that was really a wasted pitch.
Twins have more activity going in their bullpen. There's Jesse Crane, the rookie. Olerud takes a strike. Now it's 3-1. Cairo on deck. Lofton behind him. Yankees lead 5-1. And the Twins in this ballpark are well capable of coming from behind with a deficit like that. But Gardner trying to keep it from getting out of hand. That's strike 2. Three and 2 the count to Olerud. Carlos Silva knocked out here in the 6th inning, looking on, and it's ball 4 to Olerud. Twins, after getting the home run from Torrey Hunter to go ahead in the 12th inning Wednesday, then after those 2 walks by Joe Nathan, the long double by A-Rod, and then the sacrifice fly off the bat of Matsui. And Derek Jeter opportunistically scoring the winning run in that ball game, and the Twins, instead of a 6-5 win, lost it 7-6. And instead of coming home ahead 2-0, the series is tied, and they are trailing in this game. Romero looked at third, but there was nobody there because Koski came in the bunt as well. And the runners move over. Posada to third base, Olerud to second, and now we know that Cairo's an excellent bunter.
Well, he's an excellent player. I really like the things that he does. He's a winning type player. He will hit and run for you. He'll do a lot of things for you, and he plays good defense. But I think this entire Yankee team is like that. I mean, they will all bunt. I mean, we saw Jeter do it. We see a lot of guys do that.
Now Kenny Lofton. The Twins bring the infield in at the corners and halfway at short and second. Kenny Lofton has singled home a run, lined out to left center. A check swing. Did he go? Third base umpire Paul Nauert says no.
And you do not have to play in as close on the AstroTurf as you do on the next turf as you do. You see a lot of times you have to play in here if you're playing in, but you can see they're behind that because the ball will get to you quicker, and you have Posada at third, who doesn't run nearly as well as, say, Kenny Lofton if he was over there.
And too low now to Lofton. 2-0 the count.
But the fact is, that's why yesterday's game we saw Wednesday's game, we saw Ron Gardenhire make some, risky moves because he wanted to come home 2-0 because he has seen this scenario before where they split in Yankee Stadium and then come home and fall behind.
And a foul ball by Lofton. 2-1 the count.
And he took that calculated risk yesterday. It did not work out. And, we don't know how much effect it's going to have on the rest of the series because we don't know how often he's going to need Joe Nathan, or if he needs him again tonight. But he knew what he was doing. That was a big game for the Twins as well as for the Yankees on Wednesday night.
2-2 now to Lofton. Well, because he made the move as if the whole series depended on it, staying with his closer longer, knowing that if he needed Nathan tonight, he really was not sure what he would be able to get from Nathan tonight. Did he swing? An appeal made. Yes! This time Nauert, the third base umpire, says he swung. Strike 3. Out number 2. And immediately Gardenhire out of the dugout with Jeter, the right-handed hitter, coming up. And the Twins will go to their bullpen for Jesse Crane now. Jeter coming up when we return. Yankees lead 5-1, and with runners at second and third here in the 6th inning, 2 down, the 23-year-old Jesse Crane comes into the game. Jesse Crane, who was born in Toronto, although he went to high school in Colorado, and then to junior college in Texas, and then finally the University of Houston. And he comes out in a spot here where the Twins are just trying to keep from getting blown out here. They're trailing 5-1 already. Jeter, the hitter, with 2 men in scoring position. 1 ball and no strikes. He almost threw a wild pitch there. Nice save by Blanco.
Well, I think they're, as you said, they're just trying to stay within hailing distance. I mean, they're capable, of scoring 4 runs to catch up. But if you start falling 6 runs behind, it makes a big difference. I mean, just in your philosophy and your way you approach everything.
Back up the middle. That's through. Base hit. Posada scores. Here comes Olerud. And 2 runs are in. The Yankees now lead 7-1. It's a 4-run 6th inning for the Yankees, and it's not over yet. Derek Jeter comes through with the big hit to open this one up considerably.
I think the Yankees have taken more advantage of this turf than have the Twins. I mean, the Yankees have used the middle of the diamond, and that's the biggest part of the diamond on turf. Anything hit up the middle infielders are not going to be able to track down. So that ball is hit directly up the middle, goes through easily in the center field.
Jeter is running. A-Rod takes, and no throw made by Blanco. And Jeter got a huge jump against Jesse Crane. So at least Jeter, we know, is not satisfied with merely a 6-run lead.
Well, it's still early in the ball game. It's the 6th inning, and you still have to, and this is the playoffs. You do not have time. sit back and say, I have a lead, let's sit on it.
Well, it's still early, but for the Twins, it seems like it's getting later all the time.
Well, I'm sure it is, especially being that there are 6 runs behind.
It gets late early in a game like this when you're behind, to paraphrase Yogi Berra. Alex Rodriguez 0 for 3. The only Yankee starting player tonight who did not get a hit against Carlos Silva. Silva gave up 10 hits in 5+ innings. 6 runs charged to his record. Romero charged with the other run in this inning. And there is Silva. Very disappointing finish to his night. Pitched 5 pretty good innings. And the crowd is extremely disappointed. That slider slapped foul by A-Rod off to the right.
The 4-run lead, that was expanded on by Jeter's 2-run single makes all the difference in the world. Anytime you're like 4 runs behind, you say, well, we get the bases loaded, grand slam, we can tie. That no longer works.
Inside from Crane at 94 miles an hour. You saw a little earlier Terry Mulholland, the veteran left-hander, getting ready in the Minnesota bullpen. Gary Sheffield on deck. There's Mulholland. Sheffield, another right-handed hitter on deck, and then Matsui, the lefty, behind him. Jesse Crane, the 23-year-old. Look out. Right under his chin. 3-2.
Well, he definitely throws hard. And Rodriguez actually moves a little late there.
That was a little surprise. 3-2. Back to Crane. And that's the inning. 8 men back. The Yankees get 4 of them home. 1 stranded. And now the Yankees lead 7-1. Torrey Hunter coming up. It's the American League Division Series on ESPN, presented by Budweiser. 7-1. The Yankees are leading the Twins now. In the bullpen, Felix Heredia, the left-hander. Tanyan Sturts, number 56, the right-hander. Getting ready should Kevin Brown need some relief. He's gone 5 solid innings, and he's given up 6 hits, but 4 of them were infield hits. He's not walked anybody. Torrey Hunter, 0 for 2, takes ball 1. Hunter, the 3rd place hitter, in the cleanup batter, Justin Morneau, and then Corey Koski. And that runs inside. Now we talked about a little bit, Joe, about Joe Nathan and the heavy load that he carried in that ball game Wednesday, and ultimately unsuccessfully in Wednesday's game. Big chop over 3rd, and that will go down the left field line. And Torrey Hunter's going to head for 2nd. And he'll keep on going. Matsui retrieves. The throw to 3rd. He's out.
Not a smart play. Not a smart play when you're down 7-1. But he was trying to make something happen. We talked about the fact that he's starting to get the ball to sink more and they're hitting more choppers. They've been doing this for the last couple of innings. Managers will never criticize you for hustling, but this was not the right play when you're down 7 runs and you're leading off the inning. I mean, Matsui kicks it around, so he continues. But he hustles after it and then makes a strong, short, accurate throw. It's just a short throw anyway. And there you see A-Rod waiting for him.
And it's 0-1 now to Justin Morneau. So Torrey Hunter, and he knows.
Yeah.
Down by 6. Not that much advantage being at 3rd versus 2nd. Caught in left center by Matsui. Out number 2.
Well, Matsui used the AstroTurf to get the one hopper there.
It looked to me like he was safe.
Yeah, but you're not going to get called safe on a play like that. He hits him right on the shin, and the ball clearly beat him.
So 2 down, nobody on. And the batter will be Corey Koski, who has grounded out to second and singled. And that's a strike. Well, plus you got Kevin Brown, 39 years old, and the pitch count is rising, and you have a chance maybe to get him out of the game right here, but you run into an out.
Yeah. Well, leading off the inning, you just try to get on base. And again, I mean, he hustled all the way, and there was a situation where, you know, he hustled so hard, he hustled right into an out.
You're down by 6. Your value as a base runner is only in terms of how many more base runners they get after you reach. 0-2 the count. That is a base hit over Jeter's head into the alleyway. Bernie over to cut it off. Now Koski's going to test Bernie. And he is out. So the Twins get 2 hits, but each hit ends up into an out, trying to extend for an extra base. 7-1 Yankees. Well, you can see the story right on the faces of the Twins fans right there. It is not going well for the Twins, and the Twins, after falling behind 7-1, run into 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Well, as I said, most managers will never criticize you for hustling, and that's what both of these plays are. They're hustle plays, great physical hustle, but mentally they were just mistakes that you can't make when you're down 7-1. That was the first one with Torrey Hunter, and then just following it, Koski did the same thing.
Here's Terry Mulholland in from the Minnesota bullpen, the 41-year-old veteran. Throws a called strike to Gary Sheffield. Sheffield has a single and a double, and he's also lined out to the left fielder. He's hitting the ball hard all night long. Curveball hit sharply on the ground to short. Guzman from the hole, and that is out number 1.
Well, here's Koski hit the ball in the gap. It looked like he had a chance for an extra base. Good hustle by Bernie Williams and a strong and accurate throw right there to make the tag. And Hunter knew that he had made a mistake, so did Koski. But, you know, those are things that happen. You know, Kevin Brown, when he hit his fist against the wall and was out for a while, he went into all his teammates at a meeting, and he made an apology. He apologized to his teammates.
Matsui, the hitter, takes a curveball too low.
And, you know, for, you know, taking himself out and not being there for them. And it wasn't accepted right away. And then Gary Sheffield stood up. And Gary Sheffield, who had played with Kevin Brown in Florida and also in L.A., kind of stood beside him, and he was the guy that said, hey, you know, this guy's all right. I know it wasn't the wise thing to do, but he is so intense, and he'll be there for us when we need him. And it turns out that that's the way it looks right now, that Kevin Brown has been there for them today. But the big thing is not so much just he's been here for them today, but he gave Joe Torre the option that Joe Torre wanted, an experienced pitcher to pitch Game 3 when he thinks that Game 3 is the most important game of the series.
Brown is likely finished for the night. The bullpen is heating up. El Duque, Joe Torre was never quite convinced that El Duque was ready.
Right, and so and Javier Vasquez doesn't have the experience that he wants in a third game, playoff game. So Kevin Brown was there when he needed him, and he gave him the option. And Kevin has pitched very well tonight.
Paul Quantrill getting ready in the bullpen, so he'll likely come on in the last half of the.
You know what I found interesting, John, about that story is
that ball into left center field. Racing back, Torrey Hunter still going, jumps up, and the ball off his glove and over the wall, a home run.
And I think he hurt himself. His left arm hit the wall.
So Matsui
He doesn't know what
the
it
home
is.
run, but they're going out onto the field.
Well,
Matsui starts to walk off the field. He thought that he was called out.
And if you walk off the field, you are out.
And now Matsui just runs the rest of the way around, and fans are cheering because Hunter is up. But Matsui did not, the umpire out there did not make a call until Torrey Hunter got up, so the umpire himself did not realize that Hunter had that ball pop out of his glove and bounce over the wall.
Well, Torrey Hunter is fearless when he chases a fly ball. I mean, he's not concerned about walls. He's going after the ball. He leaps. He actually catches it, see, and then when his left wrist hits that railing, it throws his hand open and the ball comes out. Watch, he makes the catch right there, and watch it hit his wrist, hits the wall, and that's got to hurt. And it throws, knocks the ball out of his glove. I mean, that's the way that he plays the game, hard all the time, which is also the reason he ran into that out in the top of the inning, in the bottom of the last inning. I mean, he was not afraid of the wall. He's fearless out there. But it's funny that if Matsui goes off the field, then he is out.
Well, he started off.
Yeah, he started off, and Bernie Williams yelled at him to go back. Because if he goes off the field, he is out. Once you go towards the dugout, you cross that line.
Matsui having a laugh about it now. I mean, he's hit a lot of home runs. Just go ahead and finish your trot.
Yeah, but if he goes in the dugout, he's out.
That's what I'm saying. Just go ahead and finish your trot, and then you can find out. For some reason, he seemed to think that the umpire had signaled a catch on that one. Bernie Williams, the hitter, he homered in the 6th inning when the score was only 3-1. He had a 2-run homer. Big curveball in there. I once saw Ken Griffey Jr. Slam into the wall in center field at the Kingdome years ago. Kevin Bass, playing for Baltimore, hit a fly ball. It was a very similar play to what we just saw from Torrey Hunter. Griffey also fearless.
Yeah.
And he made one of the most spectacular catches I've ever seen. Leaping in the air on full stride. He was sprinting after this ball. He caught it, and maybe a tenth of a second later, he slammed into the wall and broke his wrist.
Nice play.
Guzman into the dirt, and Morneau cannot handle it, so Bernie Williams is safe at first base on the error charge to Guzman. But I'm hopeful that there's no, obviously it doesn't look like any kind of a serious injury, but you don't know if Torrey Hunter still might have hurt himself. He's convinced him that he can stay in this game. That did not look good because he was going hard,
and he actually caught the ball. That was a great play. He made the catch, and then when he hit the wall, his wrist, it throws your wrist open when you hit the back of it, and
his wrist hit that wall hard.
Yeah. So he makes the catch right there, and the back of his wrist hits the wall, and when your wrist is hit from that angle, it throws your hand open.
Ball and a strike now to Jorge Posada. So Matsui got the home run, although about midway between second and third, he stopped. And then apparently he thought the umpire had signaled out, and he turned and started off the field. He only got 2 or 3 steps and then got the word that he should just keep running. There's the catch in fairground by Jock Jones, and Posada is out number 2 here in the 7th inning. The Yankees lead 8-1. Here's what we're talking about. Matsui looking out there.
Now he starts to go back toward the dugout, and Bernie Williams catches him and tells him to go ahead and run. Now the third base coach says go ahead and run. And he still doesn't know exactly what has happened until Bernie circles with his arm and gives him a high five.
Bernie gave him the home run signal there. Here is John Olerud, who has singled, popped up, and walked.
There was a game last week. Someone hit a ball. They thought it was a home run. They ran all the way around the bases, and they found out the guy had caught the ball.
That was Manny Ramirez made a catch at Yankee Stadium a couple weeks ago.
Right. And Cairo.
Miguel Cairo thought that he had a home run and didn't realize till he got back to the dugout that he was out. That's the inning. Olerud retired. It is 8-1. The Yankees lead.
Dave Rivs and Steve Phillips in the studio. Don't forget, pivotal third game between the Astros and the Braves. Saturday, 1 o'clock p.m. ESPN2. Braves snatching a little momentum, and they will need it in Houston, Steve.
Well, no question. Going back to Minute Maid Park, the fans are going to be going crazy. The Astros need to regain that momentum.
Haven't lost there in nearly 6 weeks, guys.
Well, the Astros, who have never won a postseason series, so that streak would figure to end at some point. Hit right back to Paul Quantrill, the new Yankee pitcher, by Lou Ford. And just like that, there is one away here in the 7th inning. It'll be John Thompson, who had a very fine season for Atlanta. Brandon Backey, the rookie, who was a very reliable starter for Phil Garner down the stretch.
It's interesting, you know, we were talking about Ron Gardenhire and his, you know, handling of Joe Nathan. There was a lot of that went on in the last games there in Houston. They left Lidge in for a couple of extra innings.
They brought Lidge in with 1 out in the 7th inning.
Right. And then you also had John Smoltz pitching 3 innings for the Braves.
Although Lidge came in a save situation, but in the 7th inning. And Smoltz came in with the game tied, and it went into extra innings. But I mean, you're absolutely right. The kind of old-time usage.
Yeah, I was going to say
there.
Yeah, the closer, especially Lidge. That's the Raleigh Fingers kind of stuff. Coming in the 7th and just the 8th and the 9th.
Bruce Sutter.
Yeah, Mike Marshall, those kind of guys.
Guzman thrown out by Cairo. Guzman retired for the first time tonight. He'd had 2 infield hits. Let's go down to Gary Miller.
Well, John and Joe is talking to Torrey Hunter there between innings. Ron Gardenhire looked over to his center fielder and said, "You okay, babe?" And he said, "Okay." But I asked him, "Is it your back or your wrist?" Obviously, the wrist is what caused the home run. But watch his collision here with the wall. Ooh, it's the impact there, and you'll see him immediately go to his back. That's what's bothering him right now. But I think he's going to stay in the game. He seemed to indicate that to Gardenhire. If you look again, there he comes. He's talking to the trainer now, and you see the way he's limping a little bit, holding his back stiff. That's what really hit the hard impact on that wall.
All right, Gary, thank you. Michael Kadire, the hitter, and he takes the ball, 1 ball and no strikes. But I'm happy to hear about the wrist because, I mean, that could have been serious. Of course, anybody who's had back problems knows
that could be serious.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So that's the one thing that all great center fielders have in common, though. They're fearless. I mean, when the ball's up, they're going after it. I always remember the play where Willie Mays jumped into Bobby Bonds in the right center field and Candlestick. I mean, I always have that image in my mind, 2 outfielders colliding and going after the ball, and then so many of these great young center fielders now just fearless. They go right to the wall and make the catch.
Well, you know, Willie Mays said that was the only time in his career that he ever collided with another guy in the field like that. His dad had told him when he was a kid, he said, "You've got to stay healthy. Don't do anything to get injured on the field. What good are you to yourself or the team if you're injured and can't play?" That's up the middle, base hit for Michael Kadire. His first hit of the game. A 2-out single here in the 7th against Paul Quantrill. And Willie Mays never really had a serious injury at any time in his career. Now, Henry Blanco has been called back to the dugout, and Matt Lecroy is going to come up as a pinch hitter for him. Lecroy, powerful right-handed swinger, the bat for Blanco. The Twins have a young catcher, Joe Mauer, a rookie that they thought not only was going to be ready for the big leagues this year, but win the Rookie of the Year in a landslide. But Mauer got hurt early on in the season and only played very briefly. So Henry Blanco ended up doing a great deal of catching for this ball club. And also Pat Borders, a veteran whose career, I guess, is never going to end. 41 years old. He did a lot of catching. But Blanco, a fine catcher, handles pitches well, but doesn't hit well. He hit only .206. So Lee Cobb did a pinch hit for him. He hit .269, 9 home runs in 264 at-bats. Shannon Stewart on deck. Jock Jones in the hole. 2 down in the 7th. Veteran Quantrill, sinker baller, who finished the year in a terrible slump. His ERA in September was over 10.
Well, one thing about Quantrill, though, John, he will come right after you. You're going to have to put the ball in play. He comes after you.
He was coming after guys without much success for the month of September.
And that's what you want in this situation. You have a large lead. You want someone to make them put the ball in play.
He actually got the win in Wednesday's ball game. He came in and got the final out of the 12th inning, retiring Jason Kubel with 2 men out. You can't bear to watch at the moment. 2-2 the count to LeCroy, and that is the inning. So a strong inning for Quantrill. The win Wednesday, and a strong 7th inning here tonight.
ESPN's Major League Baseball Division Series, presented by Budweiser. Budweiser, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Gary Miller also with us. We're at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. And the Yankees looking pretty strong to go ahead of this series, 2-1. Matthew LeCroy, after pinch hitting for the starting catcher, Henry Blanco, stays in to do the catching now. Miguel Cairo, Kenny Lofton, and Derek Jeter, the Yankee hitters, due up against the veteran Terry Mulholland, who throws a called strike. Now, tomorrow, Joe, we mentioned that Atlanta and Houston will renew their series in Houston, with that series tied at a game apiece. Same thing, pivotal game that could turn the whole series around one way or the other. But the Dodgers will be playing Game 3 tomorrow at home against the Cardinals, playing for survival. The Dodgers down 2-0. That's a pop-up by Cairo. And Jock Jones calls off Kadire for the catch, and there is one away. We're at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. The Minnesota Twins, who came so close to going up 2-0 in this series at Yankee Stadium on Wednesday, but so far here down 8-1. The Yankees with a 3-run 2nd inning rally, all on singles, 5 consecutive singles, and they've led ever since they blew it open in the 6th inning with a 4-run rally. Added another run in the 7th to lead 8-1 as Kenny Lofton takes ball 1. Jock Jones gave the Twins a brief lead in the 1st inning with a home run to left center. Then in the 2nd, the Yankees got 5 consecutive hits, all with 2 down. Lofton may get a hit of this one. Let's see. And look at that play by Guzman.
He is so much fun to watch. I mean, he knows how to play this turf. I mean, comes and gets the ball right away, and he gets rid of it quickly. I mean, Kenny Lofton still runs well, and he gets him by quite a bit at first base. Look at that. I mean, he gets the ball out of his glove so quickly. Look at that, and released it. He even stole a peek to see where Lofton was.
Got a very strong arm, which he used to good effect there.
And a quick release. That's the main thing. Very quick release.
So Lofton is now 1 for 4 with an RBI. He drove in the go-ahead run back in the 2nd inning. He had the 4th of those 5 singles. Jeter had the 5th one to knock in a run. Jeter's driven in 3 all told. Takes a curveball for a strike. Jeter is 2 for 4. 3 batted in. A stolen base. The Yanks lead 8-1. But tomorrow night, Joe, we're talking about the Dodgers. The Dodgers, their starting pitchers in their first 2 games had an ERA of 14.73. Odalis Perez and Jeff Weaver. And the Cardinals have been getting a lot of 2-out RBI hits.
Well, they're a good hitting ball club.
Cardinals scored, 16 runs in those first 2 games. They knocked in 13 of them with 2-out hits. Jeter bending back for that one. 2-1 the count. Luis Rivas, the regular second baseman, out with an injury right now. Talking with tomorrow's starting pitcher, Johan Santana. And the way it looks now, Santana will be pitching to try and keep the Twins alive in this series. And he'll be pitching on short rest tomorrow.
Well, the funny thing about this is a short series like this, anybody can win 2 games in a row. So even though the Yankees, if they're able to hold on to this lead and take a 2-game-to-1 lead, it's still not over. Santana can, hold the Yankees down. That can even, and Radke has always been a big game pitcher. He's pitched some game 5s before. So, I mean, it's
Jeter takes inside, 3-2.
It's still going to be an interesting series, even if the Yankees are able to hold on to this lead. Because, as you said, Santana has not pitched. There's Radke. Santana has not pitched on 3 days rest before.
Radke has done it as Jeter rips a fair ball down the left field line, his 3rd hit of the game. Shannon Stewart digs it out. Jeter into second with a stand-up double. He is 3 for 5 in this one. Well, they have statistics on pitchers who've worked on 3 days rest in the last 9 years. That's only in the postseason play. And you can see there have been a lot of guys who've started with 3 days of rest, but not a lot of success.
Yeah, but if you're the Twins, you look on the side and you say there's 16 guys that have had success.
Including Josh Beckett in Game 6 in last year's World Series at Yankee Stadium. He shut out the Yankees. And, a lot of people were poised to write the story about how Jack McKeon had gambled and lost. But instead, Josh Beckett went out and pitched the game of his life.
Well, I don't think it's a gamble to pitch Santana tomorrow because, if the Yankees hold on, you're down 2-1. But he had made up his mind beforehand that Santana was going to pitch even if they were up 2-1,
one way or the other. That's the way McKeon went with it. He went. He was ahead, and he had Beckett go out there. Alex Rodriguez over to Koski. Koski throws out A-Rod. A-Rod is 0 for 5 in this one. But the Yankees have done fine without him. They lead 8-1. Top of the order coming up. Last of the 8th inning, the Twins have the top of the order coming up. Shannon Stewart, Jock Jones, and Torrey Hunter against the right-hander Paul Quantrill. The Yankees out in front here, 8-1. And the Red Sox, having already clinched their series over Anaheim earlier with an 8-6 extra inning victory. There's Derek Jeter, and he throws out Shannon Stewart, and there is 1 out. Let's go to Gary Miller.
John, Jock Jones has had a particularly emotional series. Not only has he homered in 2 of the games, as he got the only run on the board tonight, but after the extended loss in Game 2 in New York, Twins owner Carl Pohlad provided him his jet to fly back to the Sacramento area in California, where his father, Hardy Jones' funeral took place. His dad died last Thursday. When, ironically enough, when they got back from New York, he found out about it when they landed at 4 in the morning from that last regular season series in New York. He told me before the game, it's a little strange. He's in the game when he's playing, but between pitches, between innings, he can't help but think about his father. He reconciled with his dad about 10 or 11 years ago. By the time he came out of San Diego High School and went to USC, his dad would come see him play at Stanford, and of course whenever he went to West Coast trips out in Oakland or in interleague games in San Francisco.
He rips one here into right center field. That's going to be an extra base hit. Bernie Williams tracks it down. Jock Jones will pull up at second base and be content with a 1-out double. And let's go back to Gary.
Well, Johnny, as you saw in the 2 home runs he's hit, he points to his dad in the sky, but it's meant so much to him to have reconciled with his dad. His parents broke up. His mom, Linda Falk, has been a huge influence on Jock throughout his career. She worked at a KFC in San Diego, and our own Tony Gwynn used to come in there to buy chicken. Hard to believe that Tony would be buying fried chicken, but she talked about her son a lot. Tony took an interest in him. They've hooked up and stayed in contact through the years, and even his mom has had some contact with the late Hardy Jones, so it's meant a lot to him to be reconciled. And he said, you only have one father, you only have one natural mother. And so he's very glad for the influence that Hardy had on him. He thinks about him all the time, and he'll really have time to grieve when this is all over. Guys?
All right, thanks, Gary. And Jock is having quite a series with the bat. 2 homers, now a double. He's had 4 hits in these first 3 games. Torrey Hunter, the hitter right now. Torrey hit a double his last time, got thrown out trying to stretch it after the ball was booted by Matsui in the 6th inning. So Hunter is 1 for 3. That is to Jeter, short hop, and he throws out Torrey Hunter. That is out number 2. So 2 down. Jock Jones still at second base. Jock, well, I mean, we've always liked Jock as been one of our favorites.
Yeah. I think Joe Torre's going out to get, looks like he's going out to get Quantrill.
Heredia, the left-hander, ready in the bullpen with Morneau and Koski, 2 left-handed hitters coming up. So Joe Torre will take this opportunity to get Heredia into his first game of the series. 8-1, the Yankees are leading. Well, some fans are still waving their Homer hankies here at the Metrodome, despite the Twins being down 8-1 to the Yankees in the 8th inning. Justin Morneau, the rookie, facing the veteran Felix Heredia.
And John, there is a method to Joe Torre's madness here. A lot of people are wondering why he's doing this. But what he's trying to do is get Felix Heredia a chance to come in here and pitch in case he may have to bring him in later in the series to pitch to one hitter or whatever. And he doesn't want that to be his first experience under tremendous pressure, maybe bringing him in with the bases loaded or a couple of men on. So he gets him into the game and into the playoffs as quickly as possible.
The ball on the strike to Morneau, who is 0 for 3 in the game. A-Rod. And that's the inning. So now we go to the 9th inning. It'll be Sheffield, Matsui, Bernie Williams coming up. 8-1 Yankees. Top of the 9th inning, the Yankees 8 and the Twins 1. Some of the faithful still here, and the young fan got his rally cap on for when the Twins come up. Some others are still here, but not looking so hopeful. Not in this game anyway. Twins down 8-1, which could well mean that tomorrow night's ball game will be the actual must-win. There are games that feel like must-wins, and then there are games you must win or you go home. Here is Gary Sheffield against Mulholland, and that is in there for a strike. Sheffield has had a single and a double. Now, Joe, if the Yankees, let's face it, when spring training starts, it's all about the Yankees and the Red Sox. The season for both teams seems to be about that, maybe for the players, but especially for the fans. Now the Red Sox have moved to the next round. If the Yankees can win this series tomorrow night, then Mike Messina would be all set to go with a little extra rest to go probably against Curt Schilling in Game 1 of the League Championship Series Tuesday. And the Yankees would also have their starters all lined up in a row just the way Torrey would want them to be lined up. There's Mike Messina. Now, Joe Torrey's not going to say that, right? Because this series is not over even if they win tonight.
Well, I know one thing. The Twins have other plans. And the fact that they're going to send Johan Santana out there and Radke, I don't think you can start thinking about the Boston series yet if you're the Yankees.
And that's caught by Torrey Hunter. So Sheffield has hit the ball hard 5 times tonight, and he's now 2 for 5. In 1998, this best-of-5 division series, the format became 2 home games, 2 road games, and then back to the original venue for the 5th game. And the winner of Game 3, when that series has been tied at a game apiece, has won that series since then 11 times out of 14.
Well, that's why Joe Torre has always said that, Game 3 is the pivotal game.
And they usually win it. But, in the past, it didn't really matter how long they went in the first game or who pitched where, because whoever was going to start the next series was an ace. Clemens could pitch the final game of one series, and you still had Messina or Pettit or David Wells or whoever. You know, you had a long list of guys, and it was just fine if they also then started the next round for you. Matsui up the middle, and he's going to get himself a base hit. Matsui's third consecutive hit, including a home run back in the 7th.
And there are a lot of base hits in the middle of the diamond on a turf field. Anything that the pitcher can't catch is very difficult for the middle infielders to catch and convert into an out. I mean, that ball wasn't hit very hard at all. In fact, they were able to corral it before he even got to the outfield.
Here's Bernie Williams. Bernie has grounded into a double play, and then he opened it up in the 6th inning when the score was 3-1. He slammed a 2-run homer over the tarp out there in right field. This is a double play ball. Guzman to Kodire, over to Morneau. Double play. That's the second double play Bernie's hit into. Now to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Twins. They're down 8-1. Yankees 8, Twins 1. Bottom of the 9th inning coming up now. Felix Heredia still out there for the Yankees. October, 8 teams, 1 champion. The race to the World Series is on. You can catch the action on ESPN and ESPN2. Don't miss any of it. Here tonight, the Twins actually took an early lead, but then the Yankees got 5 straight hits. The 5th one by Jeter. They scored 3 times in the 2nd inning. Then Bernie Williams, 2-run homer over the curtain out there in right, made it 5-1. That fueled a 4-run 6th inning, and then Matsui, almost an incredible catch by Hunter, off his glove and into the stands, a home run to make it 8-1. And Torrey Hunter, fortunately, although he apparently injured his back on that play, able to stay in the game. Corey Koski hit by the pitch thrown by Felix Heredia. That got him right in the back, so he'll take first. So a runner at first, nobody out here. Mel Stottlemyre is calling the bullpen.
And there you see what the Yankees have done. You know, in the regular season, 43% of their runs were scored with the home run, and 7 of 15. They're right on track, aren't they?
Here in this series.
Yeah.
But then again, they had 5 consecutive singles to actually go ahead in this game.
Correct.
They sustained a rally without a single home run. Lou Ford, 1 for 3 in the game. Oh, and he is hit. Tanyan Sturtz up in the bullpen for the Yankees. He had just gotten up. Posada and Alex Rodriguez. There's Sturtz in the bullpen out to the mound. Jeter also comes to the mound.
Well, Sturtz had been up earlier, so it shouldn't take him too long to get ready if Joe Torre chooses to use him.
And Torre, I think, is going to choose to use him here.
Well, one of the things that, you know, I've learned with Joe Torre, Tony La Russa, they say that they play this like it's the 7th game of the World Series. And we saw that when we saw Jeter stealing a base when they were way ahead. You're not going to let this become a contest if you can help from it.
Tanyan Sturtz gets the call. Christian Guzman coming up. 2 men on, nobody out. We'll be back. Yankees 8, Twins 1, and Felix Heredia hitting 2 consecutive hitters to start this inning. Not exactly what Joe Torre had in mind. Tomorrow, another big day in the division series. The Braves and Astros, the pivotal Game 3 from Houston. John Thompson, Brandon Becky on ESPN2 at 1 Eastern, noon Central, 10 Pacific. Then the Yankees and Twins here at the Metrodome at 4 Eastern, 3 Central on Fox. That'll be Vasquez and Santana. The Cardinals and Dodgers. The Dodgers trying to stay alive from Dodger Stadium, 7:30 Eastern on Fox with Matt Morris versus Jose Lima. So Lima time, and he's hoping it won't be the last time this year. Fouled by Christian Guzman, who's had 2 hits, 2 for 3. Kevin Brown, the big story tonight for the Yankees, not just for this series, but maybe for the postseason if the Yankees can build on this and win this series. Kevin Brown looks like he can definitely help the Yankees here in October. Bubba Crosby, by the way, in the game replacing Sheffield at the start of this inning. And it is a ball and a strike. Now, Tanyan Sturtz went 2 2/3 innings Wednesday night and threw 54 pitches in that game. Big chop. Olerud can't get it. Cairo does, but has no play. And now the bases are loaded. The third infield hit for Guzman in this game.
Well, again, the Twins know how to use this ballpark. They do hit a lot of choppers. I mean, you can see hits right on the top of it. And a nice play by Cairo, but had no chance to throw Guzman out. Even if Olerud would have caught it, I don't think they had a play.
So you got Kadire coming up with the bases loaded, and Mariano Rivera is now getting up in the bullpen for the Yankees. In an inning in what looks like a blowout, suddenly Joe Torres felt compelled to get up his ace closer in an 8-1 game.
Well, I guarantee he's not happy about that. He wanted to give Mariano the entire day off along with yesterday in hopes of maybe if they had a lead tomorrow he could use him for 2 innings.
Because tomorrow would be a 6-inning game.
Yeah.
You got Flash Gordon and Mariano each would have had 2 days off. Sports Center after the game with Steve Levy and John Anderson. The entire day in the world of sports coming up on Sports Center right after the game. Bases loaded, Michael Kadire. Up the middle, base hit. Coming in to score is Koski. Ford held up just to make sure that Bernie wasn't going to come in and catch that one, so he stops at third. A run is in. The bases are still loaded. Nobody's out. The top of the order is lurking with Lee Croy, a powerful right-handed hitter, due up now. They're just a couple of more base runners away from the possible tying run of the game coming up.
That's all you tried to do. If you can get the tying run to the plate, that's your goal now. As you're the Twins, you're not concerned with driving in runs or whatever. You're just trying to get the tying run to the plate.
Now they're going to pinch hit for Lee Croy. Jose Offerman, a switch hitter, is going to come up. And he was the Twins' pinch hitter deluxe during the season. He was 12 for 29 as a pinch hitter, hitting over 400 as a pinch hitter. Now after him, you've got Shannon Stewart, Jock Jones, Torrey Hunter. You got all the big hitters coming up after Offerman. And Torrey is not even going to wait. He is heading out to the bullpen. He's going to bring in Rivera right now.
Well, the question again, did he have enough time to loosen up? And I would say he's still trying to steal a couple of tosses down there.
Well, even one more hit here, and it starts looking out of hand. So Rivera's coming in now. It is 8-2 now, the Yankees, but that score at this moment is a little bit misleading because the Minnesota Twins have the bases loaded with nobody out. And Offerman, the pinch hitter, coming up. Then the top of the order behind him. Sports Center comes up right after the game. And the Twins fans are waving those homer hankies again, so they're hoping to delay the onset of Sports Center just a little bit longer. So Mariano Rivera comes on. This is one of the very, very rare times you'll ever see him working in an 8-2 game. He cannot get a save here under the rule book definition of a save, but that's not the way Joe Torre's looking at it.
Well, that's a save as far as Joe is concerned. Is saving him some stress over there on the bench.
So this all started when Koski and Ford, the two hitters who started the inning against Heredia, were both hit. The bases are loaded. Ford, Guzman, and Kadire from third to first. And here is Offerman, the veteran, the Twins' best pinch hitter during the season. There's that fastball running right in on the hand. Strike one. Rivera pitched an inning and 2/3 Wednesday night, threw 25 pitches in that game, and got a blown save. Only the third time that he has had a blown save in all of his postseason experience. Too far in that time with the cutter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Torre will be astounded at what he's seeing here. Ground ball to the right side. Olerud to Rivera covering as a run comes in to score. Yankees are happy to exchange a run for an out right here. Ford in to score. Guzman over to third. Kadire over to second. And now it is 8-3. And Shannon Stewart comes up. They still need a couple of more base runners to be able to send the tying run or the possible tying run to the plate.
And that's all the Yankees are trying to avoid. All the runners out, the 2 runners out there mean nothing to anyone on the Yankees.
Shannon Stewart 2 for 10 lifetime against Rivera. Ooh, he took a mighty cut at that one and did not make contact. Jock Jones behind him. And then Torrey Hunter. The Twins' power about to come up here. Stewart has some power too. Runners at second and third. High and tight. A ball and a strike. Red Sox, of course, had a 6-1 lead over the Angels late in that game. And then the Angels scored 5 runs to tie the game in 1 inning. The last 4 on Vladimir Guerrero's grand slam. Shallow left center. Bernie Williams makes the catch. And heading home. Now also moving up, and it works. Wow, talk about a gamble. Guzman scores, but Kadire also tagged up. And could well have been the final out of this game, but he made it. And 3 runs are scored in the inning. Sacrifice fly there for Stewart, and it is 8-4.
Well, I was a little surprised that Bernie threw home, and I was definitely surprised that Kadire tagged up. I mean, again, his run means nothing.
So now Jock Jones, 2 down, runner at third. And it's 0-1. Jock Jones has had a homer and a double tonight. And he's had 4 hits in 14 at-bats in this series, including 2 home runs. Jock, 2 hits and 7 career at-bats against Rivera. Well, he chased a high one, and now he chases one that's still higher. 0-2 the count.
No, we've seen the Twins make some mistakes on the bases tonight, but being honest with you, John, I don't think any of those had any effect on the outcome of the ball game.
0-2 the count. Well, he stays up there, but this time Jacques lays off. Oh, he had Torrey Hunter and Corey Koski both got thrown out trying to get an extra base in the 6th inning when they were down 7-1 already. Kadire, the runner at third. 2 down. Slow chop. A-Rod. And the ball game at long last is over. Mariano Rivera comes in to retire each of the final 3 hitters, and the Yankees have gone ahead in this series 2-1. Kevin Brown gets a big win here tonight, and they'll try and wrap it up tomorrow. For Joe Morgan, Gary Miller, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm John Miller. Sports Center is next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.